Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to make a video and just to be able to help out everybody. I haven't really seen one that's shown it, and I've done it on some of my other cars, and a lot of people really appreciated it. But I wanted to do a video on how to take off the wiper cowl, and it can really help when you're doing a lot of work up in that area, because it opens up so much area to be able to get to. And it's not hard, but a lot of people don't want to take the time to take it off, and it really doesn't take that much time. Once you do it once, it's usually, on most of the other cars I've done it on, takes about 10 minutes, and it saves you a lot of time. So if you're willing to do that, and you will find yourself very happy that you took that time, because it will come back in spades on the back end. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the steps. This will make things, you know, the intake, if you want to get to the back side where the turbo is and the exhaust is, the downpipe is, all these types of things you can get much better access to, and be able to get into those areas, and who knows what else. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started, and we'll get going. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to take off the little covers there on both the wipers and remove, they're typically a 14mm bolt, and take off the wipers. Then on here, it looks like there's some clips right here. Just kind of looking at it, looks like 4 clips along the front. Then typically this tray will kind of unsnap and get pulled out, and there's usually a metal tray below that. And I'm also curious to find out, because a lot of people talking about that there's already an upper strut brace under this wiper cowl. So I'm going to discover if that is fact or fiction, and we'll go through the process here. And it's going to feel so much bigger in here without the tray. So let me get some of my tools and we'll get going. So let's pop these guys off. I normally find a real small screwdriver works best. I don't ever want to damage them, but it gets underneath the plastic clip better. There is that, and that exposes our 14mm bolts, so we can go ahead and loosen those for the wipers. Okay, so those guys are off. It just takes a couple of wiggles, and they. So now that we got the wipers off, we just want to go ahead and pop these clips out real quick. So get your screwdriver or your popper tool of some sort. So these just have a piece that pops from the middle. There's a flat side on each one, so you can get a screwdriver under it. And then once you get those out, there's this whole assembly. Usually slide right off of the windshield and then come out just like that. So usually not too terribly difficult there. So, and then here's your metal tray the actual wiper cowl, but usually need to remove the wiper arm first before you can take the cowl out. And there's usually a whole bunch of 10 millimeter bolts, as you can see, kind of in there. And there's usually 10 millimeter ones for the wiper assembly also. So it's not, Toyota hasn't changed their formula really over the years. So the first thing we want to do is we want to undo the ones for the wiper motor. So it looks like there's one right here, there's one right here, and that looks like that is it. There's just two. Most of the other cars I've messed with have three, but so right here there's a little rubber piece, and what it does is it slides. So this whole wiper assembly, you move to the left slightly and then pull it out. Make sure you don't hit your windshield. So, and it is right there. So, and then here, you undo the plug, just push down on the top there. And you got your whole wiper assembly. So 2 bolts and a plug. We'll just tuck that out of the way. And we'll come over to this side. There we go. Oh, that's a different type. Oh, it's got them on the long side there. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now we just need to get all, see, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Not as many as I'm used to. Let's get those out. Shorter for that one. Now let's just get all the long ones and then I'll come back and get that. That saves a lot of time. Alrighty, now I gotta shorten this up. So now, good that way. What we need to do is get these bigger bolts off. Break them loose manually because my wife is sleeping because she worked last night. Yeah. And this one. So it looks like there's 2 on both sides. The back most of, actually the 2 inner ones. So the 2 big nuts are off on both sides on top of the strut. The 9, 10 millimeter bolts are off. I do not see any others, so this should lift up. Pop out. As long as there's nothing else that I've missed. Oh, there's a, well, it's just a plastic piece right here. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I can just, without removing it, I can just pop it around. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And out this will come. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. And that is the wiper cowl. So you can see how much room that gives you there. There's a lot of space under there. So now you can see everything down in there so much better. There's your, see, look at that. So access to the backside, the exhaust. Here's your, what seems so tight and no room working on. The turbo inlet. Wrap it around from the air box and around to it. It looks so tight and crammed trying to do all that other stuff. Now it's nothing. So, and in fact, I even noticed that when I did my brace, master cylinder brace there, you can see it right there. Heck, I could have actually taken this off. So that's another option if you don't want to mess with the ECU. Unplugging the battery and unplugging the ECU, you could actually get to the brace area and the bolts and stuff like that from right there. You wouldn't have to mess with the ECU or anything. So yeah, that would work quite easily. So the catch can, which looks like it's right at the back of the engine bay, now you realize isn't. And there's so much more space behind it. And the engine bay looks huge now. I mean, look at how big that looks without the without the wiper cowl on there. Man. So all right. Well, we'll go ahead and reverse the process and put everything back on. One thing I always do on any car when I take the wiper cowl out too, I always take the opportunity and try to wipe down underneath it and behind it. It's the only time you're going to get a chance to wipe any of that stuff down. So, and I do the same thing with the wiper cowl. Try to wipe it down a little bit and keep cleaning it off. So, but I want to go ahead. I've kind of looked at this thing pretty closely, and there was a big debate a while back if this had a built-in strut brace or not. And I can tell you right now that it does not have a built-in strut brace. Now, it does have some stamped steel here, and it's a little more rigid than a normal wiper cowl, but it is not as rigid as a normal strut brace. So I definitely would not discount putting a strut brace on, because that is made specifically for this purpose. So just to put that beaten dead horse to rest. So it's I mean, it's better than just a single piece of stamped steel like most wiper cowls, because it has got an extra layer to it to make it stronger, and because two of the bolts wrap around it, it does help tie it in. So it's better, but it's definitely not going to hurt putting in a strut brace also. And another thing that I'm not sure exactly why Toyota did this, but they did, and it bothered me, but it doesn't bother me anymore. And that is that you didn't have access really to the top of the strut if you wanted to put coilovers or something, so you could adjust your dampening. But now that I really kind of just see that it's just this piece, and it's just this thin layer right up top here, I really have no concern now by opening this up a little bit, just so that you can get in and adjust your coilovers. So that makes me feel good about that also. So anyway, with that being said, I'll go ahead and get this seated back in. So, of course, the installation is the reverse of what we just did. So I know, let's get this cord up right there, and this is gonna slide up on top. Go ahead and thread these big guys on there. Okay, got it back in, and I've got the 9 10mm bolts just hand started. And so now, and always hand start those so that you make sure that you get them in properly and you don't cross thread them. So it's nice with this because all you need is a 14 and a 10. And that's it. You can get everything else. And then, you know, a little small screwdriver or panel popper or something to that effect. So, okay. Now we'll get all the little 10s tightened down. Go back through these and just double I'm just double checking by hand. There we go. So those are all tightened down. So now we need to go ahead and snap these clips back in. There's that one. There's that one. There's that. Okay. Now we can go ahead and put the wiper motor back in. Now, when we do the wiper motor, here's the little black rubber piece that slides in to this slot right here. So there's the slot. You can kind of see just a little U-shaped slot. And this guy just slides right into it. And once you get it positioned, then the two 10mm bolts will fall into place. So this goes just like this. So again, careful of your windshield. So this is just kind of a loose piece, so tilt this in under the glass. Get that rubber piece down. Where it can slide in just like that. And this one should line up right over here. And this one should be lined up there. And these are longer screws with a big fat washer on them. Yeah, they've kind of got a smaller non-threaded part on these bolts so that they do start properly. No sense in taking a chance. There we go. Click. Make sure you hear that pop. So, oh yeah. There we go. Wiper motor is back in and bolted down and connected. So, what is next? But the plastic piece, the actual top of the visible wiper cowl. And once again, this is a good time just because there's nothing in the way that you can kind of wipe it down and get it nice and clean. Now that this is all wiped down and clean and looking nice, now this just goes back in. So there is I'll point this out real quick. On the back side of this lip right here, this rubber seal, so this piece goes on top of the windshield, while these clips right here go on the underside of it. So you do want to be cognizant of that. So if you kind of put it in, I always start like on a corner, one corner, and then I just kind of work my way across it. Then it lines up for the clip. And this one lines up too. So I know that it's in the right place. Nothing's buckled, everything looks good. So then you can take those two big clips. Now, the only thing that we have left to do is to put in the wipers. Okay, putting the wipers back on, and if you just kind of stand them up on here and kind of shimmy it down so it gets down onto the spline, then what I do is I drop it down and I kind of look to see if that's about where it should be, and that one is good. Then I'll take my nut and I'll push down on the arm here, and I'll take the pressure off, and then I'll just screw that down. I'll do the same thing for the bigger driver's one. This one's kind of under a little bit, so but I'm gonna shimmy that down and close it. Manual twist on that and make sure. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're both tight. Okay. And then the very last thing to finish this job is to take your little black clips and snap them on. I hope that helps for all of you that would like to do this, and don't be intimidated by it, but boy, it sure does give you a lot more space. And like I said, it's about 10 minutes to get it off once you've done it once, and it's just not a lot of work, but it saves you a lot of time. So if you appreciate it and you like these kind of videos, guys, I sure would appreciate hitting that like button, subscribe, share, and until next time, guys, we'll see you down the road.